Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Or Plus. It's Friday. Woo woo. Hello, Friday. How y'all doing on this fine Friday? Yesterday's trade kind of sucked. We lost it. But, nothing to note. We were right about the direction. I paid attention to it a little bit after I got through trading. The idea was correct. Price was going to go down. But before it could go down, it needed to retest these highs up here. Why these highs in particular? Because we had an imbalance. And the highest point after that imbalance was right here. So I can't use the first high and I can't use the first low. If I did, it would just throw it completely off. So we have to record the highest high off that point and then the lowest low off that point. Up until that moment, the lowest point was like right in here. It kept making lower lows. It was telling us that price wanted to continue lower. Our idea was correct. What we did not do, what I had failed epically about, was waiting for the highest point after the imbalance, this imbalance, to get retested. And sure enough, that's what it did. It touched the same level and then proceeded to plummet. We could have put our stop loss up here, and we would have had. I even called that. I was right about this being where price would stop. It even created an imbalance in the process of making it right here. I know it's hard to see because that's in the way. Let me just get rid of this. That right there was our imbalance. We had a low created, lowest low after, and a high up here. It created that high, went a bit lower, made a new low, retested, and then ripped up. Have a new imbalance there, and now it's moving up. I called it. We failed because I chose not to mark the highest high after the imbalance, resulting in a loss. We put our stop loss too close to a high that was going to get enveloped anyway, so that was a mistake on my part. Today, we're not going to make that mistake. Today, we're going to do a little bit different. We're gonna have a little bit more fun with it, okay? We're going to go ahead and move all the way over here. It might actually be smarter if I did this. Whee! Boom. Boom, boom. Let's take a look at 18. Boom. Let's take a look at 3. We're going to set it up. I'm being nice and quiet for this part because I like to focus on setup. Okay. Let's move to the hour real quick. High time frame. What am I looking at? Well, we have our point of control right here. This is point of control 1. So high time frame, point of control 1. Good. Then we have our second point of control up here. I'm going to put it smack dab in the center of these two because there is no higher low between them. High time frame, point of control 2. Oops. From here, what do we need to look at? Well, we see that price has gone up here. We have an imbalance. Most recent one was placed here. Boom. What has to happen now? Price has to retrace just a wee bit. And what do I think about it retracing here soon? I think it might be soon. Why? Because we have moved up a significant amount, and this could easily be a peak that needs pullback from. And of course, all the way through Asian session and a little bit of halfway through. Oh, I'm sorry. Because of the previous move down throughout all of New York Stock Exchange, and then the open of Asian session being the beginning of that retrace, it moving up and London moving up makes a little bit of sense. We want to see it pull back into this zone though. We need to see it create a low, and then we need to see it retest that same level and then continue higher. It has to fail the low and then continue higher. That is how that works. Oh, I messed up. It is not that large. It is like right there-ish. I know that's hard to see. There's green going up to that little corner right there. But yeah, that's currently what we got to wait on. Price is magnetized, I guess, towards this. I get we're in the middle of a move here. Like this break of structure on up is a move in and of itself. Yeah, yeah. This is I guess that would be the flip. That would be the exchange. If price continues higher, breaks beyond this high, and then continues up, I do believe on the. Oh no, this is the high time frame. Okay, so huh, that would be the high time frame that we're looking at, which is okay. Let's leave the high time frame right where it is. Let's take a look at the 5 minute instead, because that is a broad. Okay, we could be seeing a retrace back down, fail, and then continue higher. But we could also be seeing price just continuing to rip higher, and we want to make sure that if there's a low to be caught in the middle of the 5 minute, we get that retrace and then we see it fly back up. Yeah, that's currently what we're looking for. Looking at what we have currently here, move down. There's a low there. We need to find the most recent imbalance. Most recent one being right here. This is the most recent imbalance on the 5 minute. Lowest point, lowest low is right here. What makes this a low? Down, up, low. So it's got to come back down, hit this, fail, and then continue higher. Once it continues higher without creating a new low or closing below it, we can go ahead and assume price is just going to continue higher. We can enter, let it rip, and assume that. Not assume. That's a bad idea. Don't assume. Because point of control 1's here, point of control 2's here. I guess the next point it would try and target is all the way up here. Or right here. We're going to label this as point of control 3. Low time frame. And then we'll label this low volume node, low time frame, imbal, target. I know it's a little redundant of labeling. The low volume node is in relation to this right here. This is our amount of volume. It being the lowest within this crevice here makes it the low volume node. We're marking it on the low time frame. That's why the LTF is there. Imbal target, in the event price does want to retest the level, it's going to be at levels of imbalance, because otherwise it's going to a point of control previously made. Seeing that are we in imbalance right now on this? Is that what this is right now? No, we're not. We're kind of. We're at the lowest volume of this right here of London session currently. So we could be seeing price continue up further and to test this imbalance right here. Whoa. Oh, what happened there? But it's like I got scratched. Like real bad. That's weird. Yeah. That's kind of what we're waiting on though. We need to wait for this to get retested on the low time frame, and of course we have an imbalance here that wants to get tested, pulled back into. I have no doubt that we'll probably have a. That's the correct, yeah, that's a good low imbalance right there. And then we have another imbalance right here within this imbalance that we could target. Could target this, looking in relation to this and this right here. We have two imbalances, and then the lowest points being like right at the candle after their closure. So we could see price dip down as far as this and then continue higher. But we want to make certain that that pullback is a valid one, because if it's not, that would kind of suck just a wee bit. I'll take a look at this right here. I want to capture all the imbalances we can within that one move. Next imbalance is like right here, goes all the way down to there. Though the volume isn't matching up with it right now, it's more so this right here and this right here that are low imbalance nodes. This one's more likely going to get hit on pullback, so we'll keep this one in mind. The lowest imbalance is right there from going from previous session to this session. As we can see here, it's a little bit lower, it's a little bit higher. That's literally one imbalance right there, these two combined. So this right here being an imbalance is also a thing. I don't want to mark like crazy. I can see what the imbalances look like. They're good. Getting off of imbalances, because I've said it probably too many times. Way too many times. Oh, hello. Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so I'm not going to deal with that. I don't trade Saturdays, and I definitely don't trade Sundays. It's okay. Is there anything really else I can do right now? I don't think there is. I've marked the imbalances as of current. I'm waiting for a pullback into either one to continue to move up. I don't think we're going to see, unless on close it produces another imbalance, in which case price is just going to continue higher. Yeah. If on this candle close there's a new imbalance formed, I'm just going to wait until I see an imbalance with a low made, and then from there I'll mark it on down. Wait for retest and let's see it continue higher. Before we continue, let's go ahead and hit up news. See what we can see there. Ooh, wrong one. There we go. Forex Factory. We have two red folders. Inflation expectations, consumer sentiment. We have previous 56, 55 on forecast. If the actual is greater than forecast, is good for currency. So if we see a green number, it's going down. For the past couple of times it's come out, it's been green. So price has continued to move lower. And then we move over here. Previous is 4%. And it says actual greater than forecast, good for currency. Inflation's been steadily rising. That much is definite, like that's defined everywhere. Okay, cool. I'm looking at this though. October, December, and January. All of those were lower than their previous. And if their previous is meant to be their forecast in this case, the majority says we're going to be decreasing. And if we are, oh wait, hello, not just. I said October. Yeah, October was lesser. September was the same. November was more. December was less. And then January was the same. So if it's greater or less than, we could see it. Or sorry, if it's equal to or less than, we might see it fall. But if it is greater, we'll see it flip it. If it's lesser or equal to, it'll rise. If it's greater than, it'll fall. There we go. That line is straight now. We gotta wait for it though. This says 4%. Previous was 4.2. Actual was 4.2. Everything was above 4%, so I imagine it is going to be greater, and we are going to see price fall as a result of this folder. Whereas on this other one, same story. If it's greater than forecast, good for currency. Majority says greater, so we could see price fall again. This is legitimately on, like, as soon as 10 a.m. hits, that is going to be the retrace that we're looking for. And that retrace is going to be a big one, I imagine, into this imbalance right here, and potentially even further down towards this imbalance, and maybe, sorry, I say imbalance, this fair value gap or this fair value gap way down here. it could sweep all of this out from under itself. Right now, playing off the high time frame, though, I do believe it's just going to target this one fair value gap imbalance that's left behind right here. That would square away a lot of the volume between where it is now and where this is. That move down, I will only ever target as low as this right here, because I don't know if it'll continue lower. Like, there's nothing else saying it will continue lower. As far as I know, as far as we know, that news coming out at 10 could just mean it's coming back down to retest either one of these bounces here or here. Ooh. And it could just be a pullback for a larger move higher. Let's take a look at the hour real quick. Yeah, hour says we're just moving up even higher, so I'm going to take off this. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to take it off. I'm not going to take it off. It looks messy. It does look messy. I will admit that. But it's okay because there is a number of them that price could retrace and test to, and I want to make sure that we get the right tests done every step of the way. Pardon me while I queue up for stream, setting that up, getting it out the way. Because once this is done out the way, I'll be pressing start on stream. Check out Orb's Vault as well as Orb over on Twitch. The link can be found down below. And then check out the TikTok as well. I'll stream there. I don't really post many shorts or TikToks there. So, yeah, go check those out. Follow them, subscribe to them, think about them, because, yeah, I'm working on literally all of it. Going along quite nicely. There we go. All good. All good. Very, very nice. Very, 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 very nice indeed. Starting. What do we want to play? What do I want to play today for stream? I gotta do a little bit of Warframe because I have a bunch of friends that are wanting to do a credit farm thing where we can get like hundreds of millions of credits in like a very short amount of time. I'm really close to getting all of that situated. I need to do a bunch of Red Veil stuff. I think that's what we'll do first. Do Warframe first for like 3-4 hours because I know that's gonna be a grind and grind on, right? Separate from that, I'm thinking we could do some No Man's Sky for 2 hours because I've been wanting to build, or actually, I've honestly been wanting to chill for a while. I think I'm gonna use that as my intermission game. For when I just don't know what to do, I could just sprawl out in the middle of space, fight some pirates, have some fun, discovering new planets type of gist. What am I thinking? I'm thinking I want to tie in some content that I can make into videos after stream. So maybe some Scriblio. I don't want to do public though. I want to do private match, and for that, I'm going to need people. Separate from Scriblio, I could do. Shoot, I could switch it up and do some COD. I could play some Call of Duty. I don't have Black Ops 7, but I do have Black Ops 6 and Modern Warfare 3, whole 9 yards. I don't want to get another COD for a little while, not until they fix their stuff. Separate from that, though, maybe Halo. I could play some Halo Reach, play some campaign, play some online campaign. That sounds like a fun idea. I need to see if I can get anybody in on that, see if they want to play some Halo. I don't think they will, though, so I have very few friends that play Halo anymore, which is saddening to me because I still love the game, but what can you do? Hard drive spaces are just going down, and monetary gains are just dominating. How about this? What should we title stream? Let's go ahead and make this because yeah. Uh-huh. Connection success. Yeah. Bum. Connected. As for titles. Four frames up first. So oh, Ubin, Ubin. Is that an appropriate name for that? Control C. Bum. Bum. Very good. Hello, low was just freshly formed. Let's go ahead and mark that. I get this candle has yet to close, but I'm still going to mark it because it is after this imbalance that this low has formed. Wait for it. Wait for it. I'm going to update settings, but I'm not going to start stream. It is not started yet, so no need to fear. No need to worry. At least not yet. Okay. Okay. I do stuff on this. This is for her. I would be new to this. Yeah. Restream. Yeah. Stuff like that. Because if I press anything on this, it's just going to report, which makes sense. So it works. Okay. That's taken care of. Done. Stream starting soon. Boom. Recording. I'll be doing gaming, not investing. I really need to separate the stuffs because I'm hoping I can continue to do essentially that. I can record investing over here, record gaming and streaming, as well as record chaos on my other desktop, and then wrap it all up. Have like 3 videos, one for Orb Plus, one for Orbs Vault, and then third one for chaos and her stuff. And once that's out the way, I could just edit them down, have some fun with them. Type of just, ow, I'm messing myself up. First, I'm like scraped right there. Now my knuckles bleeding. It's like I punched a wall. Oh no, the low's being made. Or are we on retrace now? Is that what is happening? Well, no, after imbalance, this is the new high. Y, up, down, high. That works. And this is the new low. I imagine it is in retrace now. We're going to see this pullback occur. In which case, I don't think it'll target this. Yes, it's an imbalance, but as I'm looking at it, it's slowly closing up, and it's right at closing. So we could see price completely envelop this fair value gap, which means it won't target that anymore. It'll be this low, this fair value gap, and onward down. We could see it hit as low as this right here. Let's see. I want to see what the hour looks like. The hour is just a huge rip up. There is no imbalance between these two. Those are pretty much closed. There's no imbalance right here, with the exception of like this right here. And we've already marked all through this as the point of control. So this is nada, a moment of take a look-see. If we wanted to mark that, it'd be this low after this imbalance that we'd be looking at, but this is the current one, and we want to see it retrace down into this before we really mark anything down here. And of course, it would need to envelop all of this. Envelope. It's got to mail it. It's got to fax it over. Comment section. Yeah, price is just full on ripping right way up high. That's completely closed up this imbalance here. So we don't need to worry about this. This is the current imbalance. The highest point after is right here. The lowest point is right there. We have our range. And of course, we have a huge point of control up into this. After this imbalance that we can really focus on. And it looks like it'll continue higher based on this volume right here. Is a good stepping stone. It's not too much gap to cross. So we could see it just continue up higher. Where would it target after? Is my question, because there's not much volume up in this, right? We have the low volume, low time frame imbalance target here that it could be hitting, and that's exactly what I think it might be going for. Is this low balance gist? It could hit this and then continue to fall, and then at the same time, based on volume again, because it will have hit this, it will need to potentially build up the volume within this range. It'll create a range here and then draw up volume, and it'll probably go for the next likeliest target, and that's going off of like a little ways back, right? The closest target is down here, which makes sense in regards to when news comes out if it decides to go lower. But if we're wrong about news, the next likely target will be up high because of all of this, all the stepping stone between this low balance area and then all of this balance up here. Because it stagnates all the way across this for a minute, and then it's only right here that it really starts to drop alarmingly without anyone present. And then, yeah. I'm going a little too far. I feel like I'm over analyzing this, which is completely fine. I'm just not going to pay attention to much of it. I'm not going to make the same mistake I did last time. I'm actually going to wait for my setup, and I'm going to wait and see what market presents us with. That setup. Do I think it'll go anywhere anytime soon? No, because it's pretty much just there. Warframe. Maybe on that PC? I think on that PC. Yeah. That would save this PC's resources. I can play game and record on this, and then record and stream on this. That would save a lot of issues happening across multiple. And then this is its own thing. I don't have to worry much about it. It's pretty cut and dry after I get through recording on this. And then this PC. Do I want to run Discord? Discord will have to be thrown on that. I'll have to run two Discords, that one and this one. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, I'm going to pause the video now. It's fairly up. It's moving up. That's all I can say about it right now. Where do I think it's going to target? I think it'll target this, and then I'll see it retrace down after an imbalance, hitting a low, and it'll either, from that point, it'll have to decide. Either it crosses that low and continues down, hitting one of these, or one of these small imbalances right here, or we'll see it hit this and just rip completely through, sweeping all of this out from underneath itself. We'll have to wait and see, though. So I'm going to pause the video. I'll be right back. Well, hot cocoa sure is good. Give me some hot chocolate. Chocolate is very, very nice. Very, very nice indeed. We have a low here. Imbalance. Boom! Yay! Broke structure here. No imbalance. No imbalance. No imbalance. No imbalance within any of this. So this is targeting for retest. Looks like I was right on the money. Or at least as right as I can be. Without getting too wrong. Price came up to this level here, which is the lowest point. Called it, kinda. looking for a price to come down far enough after an imbalance to retest either this right here or for it to just continue on downward. We have this low made. This is the lowest point made after the imbalance. Yeah. It's quite crazy. It's quite crazy. Tis quite crazy. Oh, hello. Maybe. From here down. Cool. Lowest point made after imbalance. It's about right here. Realistically speaking, that'd be the true one there. Price went below that and has continued going lower. High is there and there. Maybe this is acceptance within a range, a balance range. News hasn't hit yet. At least I don't think it has. Let's see. Yeah, no, it hasn't hit yet. We're just waiting. All it is. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until not open, but till a comfortable imbalance has been made and there's a valid area that's been retested. Valid. We'll see. Okay. So we have gotten really close to open. Looking at the higher time frame real quick, I'm gonna do the same thing I just did a second ago. The most recent imbalance that hasn't been filled yet is up here. We have a high here. It's met the same high. It's now in recession. With it coming back down, I figure, okay, let's play to that move. But to further test it, we're going to go off of the imbalance presented to us on the 5-minute that has not been filled yet. This wouldn't really count, but it's the most recent imbalance that we've got. My thought process is that from this imbalance forward, we want to see the retest of this high here. And then once it's been hit, failed, and dropped, we can go ahead and enter. The other likely scenario is this high up here, because we know that this is the high that hit the previous, talking about the higher time frame from the small up to the high. I'm looking for a retest of some kind. From there, a drop, which will give us that move down that we're looking for. Yeah. it to do its thing. After we've entered trade, I'll go ahead and pause the video. So far, we are applying the strategy for it, and I've taken note of the higher time frame, so there's pretty much nothing left for me to really think on. Just waiting for a retest and then a drop. Outside of that, I'm looking for an imbalance in a direction in the event the retest isn't there. There it goes on a move up. I do strongly believe that its retest up high is going to result in the move down. I'm just waiting for it. Equal volume nodes right here in this area. Prices come up, but it hasn't quite tested this high right here. Something to note as well, no, I'm wrong. It broke structure on this right here to move up even higher, so see what happens. I actually made notes on that. Need to find this right here. Okay, so I thought I did, but I didn't. Oh well. The more and more I look at this, the more and more I'm realizing I shouldn't be looking at this right here as an imbalance, as a fair value gap at all. It is a fair value gap, but price has not only come down and literally closed it, but it's also closed beyond this gap here. So it's no longer of use. We can't really use that as an imbalance. Sure it is, but the disrespect of the fair value gap suggests that it'll continue lower, not higher. Which falls in line with the bias. I mean, for the higher time frame, we are moving lower, and that's apparent even on the 1 hour. We just had a move up, so prices got to continue downward per the trend on the higher time frame. What about the lower time frame suggests that we can go ahead and enter, knowing it'll continue lower. An imbalance with a retest is the best one. Or a fair value gap in the direction of said trend that says, yes, we're going to continue lower. The MACD is also throwing up a back and forth signal. I mean, you could see it. It goes up and then go down and up. Now we're back down. Very inconsistent throughout this whole gist here. We just got through with a huge move down. This huge move being from this high down to this low. And then that's after it's come up all this way here. It's been a steady climb all the way up. So, and this could just be like that whole move. This whole move right here could be pullback from the initial to retest, and then this right here its move up on its own could be the retest for the level, but we haven't seen that yet. So yeah, nothing yet. Looking at all these, where all price is gone, it looks like price does want to continue downward. It's just waiting for a serious amount of volume. I want to wait though. I don't want to make the same mistake I did last time. I want to wait for a valid imbalance, a valid fair value gap, and then from there, a retest on a high or a low, and then from that, entrance, and then continuation. And we're going to enter on the candle close, that third candle close. Here we go with a step down. It sucks because once market opens, I know it's just going to rip one direction or the other real quick, and it might just fill whatever imbalance could be forming right now. I can't say or call it an imbalance anymore because of this, the fact that there's so much volume on this one price level right here. It's in a balance area. Our point of control is dead center. We've marked said balance area. Now we're waiting for it to disrespect it. Though volumes spread fairly evenly, there's a little bit more on the down than there is on the up. We're looking primarily for a pattern to unfold. So right now we're just waiting. With enough volume in one direction, it should poke through. After it's poked through, wait for that imbalance to present itself, the fair value gap, and then a retest of that level, a failure, and then continuation. I know what I'm looking for. Grab this. I feel my rear end getting sore just sitting here. There we go with a big move down. Let's see if that continues in that direction. like we might actually have an imbalance off of market open. Right about there. Small imbalance, but if it works, stays right where it is, pretty much set to look for an area. Never mind. Let's see what happens. Go with a big old move up. Let's see how far it goes. Okay, so it's push up beyond the highs from before. And it's created an imbalance. It's a low volume node right there that it's going for. Where from there could it go? Up, really. Or that's the gear up, swooping past all the previous highs, creating a lower high on a larger time frame, and then moving back down. I'm going to go ahead and assume that's exactly what it's doing here. It's not going to go beyond that imbalance node at all. So from there, we need to be looking for, again, the imbalance, the closure of the next candle, and then a continuance down into that same level, retest, fail, and then move higher. That's the breakout I was looking for. past these highs here. Are we going for that point of control there? I don't think it will though, because even on if we're looking at this from a high time frame, from this point on down, beyond the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, this is just one big red candle. On the 4 hour, yeah, it is not one big red candle, it's three big red candles. Regardless, though, we broke below this low here and have been in a downtrend on the 4 hour ever since. This is just the newest high. So this is a prime time, okay, find this imbalance, wait for it to close up. Once the imbalance is done, we can look for a new, yeah, because it's ventured all the way down into that. So we can look for a retrace off of this, and it'll either continue higher or lower. Based on this imbalance down here, I think it'll continue low or higher, not lower. We don't want the hour, we want the 5 minute, because the 5 minute is where the imbalance is set to. This one right here, anyway. We have 3 minutes for this candle right here to close. We're just waiting for it to do so. We can see MACD's freaking out. Got a ton of volume pushing price higher. It's projected to go even higher. We're just looking for retest to confirm, yeah, we're going to go a little bit higher than just this. And we could choose to enter higher right now, but we'd be forcing ourselves to face a retrace that we don't really like to see. I don't really want to see, so it works. The worst part about looking at this chart is we couldn't have done anything over here. We had an imbalance right here, but the problem is everything closed below. It left a huge amount of liquidity, never swept beyond that low, and then it closed anyway below that fair value gap there. So, it's really painful to look at a consolidation going, yeah, where could I have gotten a jump on this move? There wasn't one because it never presented one. Minute 30 for that candle close. Let's see what happens. Gotta say, it is so weird using a laptop to record these specific videos. I'm so used to having to use big desktop with big mic. That sounds actually kind of good. I don't have a mic for the laptop though, so it's a little weird. Reason for the change up was because I got tired of having to record on this and edit on this at the same time. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna split up the workload because really I only ever use my laptop for research if I really need to, and on rare occasions do I use my right hand desktop for gaming. I'll go ahead and split the workload, record on my laptop, post to straight to YouTube. I'm not going to edit these videos at all, so you get the full gist when I go to day trade, and then when I go for editing and recording gameplay or streaming, it'll be on primary desktop. Yeah, that's about it. Maybe going for that high right there. All right, that candle was closed. Boom. Big ol' fair value gap and imbalance here for the low time frame. Zooming out, doing this right here. Yeah, it's just dancing around the low volume nodes right here. Of course, it looks a little bit different because we've been in a constant downtrend. Here recently, we just broke out of also the relatively low volume node right where it's sitting. I think it'll continue higher based on these volume nodes up here. It'll have to venture across this consolidation mode and then a little bit higher, a little bit more of a consolidation, huge stepping stones just ripping up higher and higher. So I want it to come down. I want it to come down. Does it mean it will? Nope. There comes the move down. The goal was that it would continue lower if it hit this low volume node because the other two are much higher in volume compared to everything below hand. So the retest is going to be here. For if it wants to continue lower, it's going to come back up, test this, fail, and then drop. When it does that, yay. If it does not fail this, and instead we have a low, it comes up, passes, comes back down, that'll be the entry on that next retest there. Because it's got to consolidate within the low volume node first, test, then break out, and then we'll get the trade off of that. Also, I just realized news will come out in about 18 minutes. That'll be this right here. Let's refresh this and make sure. Yeah, nothing yet, so we'll wait. Just want to make sure that's, yeah, it's being caught. Okay, we'll go ahead and minimize this, minimize that. Boom. Sunny day out. Very nice. So it failed to retest. It's just going to go higher. Actually, we can't even record that because it needs to go up then down to create a high that has to get retested. If it doesn't do that, then we can't really go on that as a confluence. We do have an imbalance though, which works. We have a new imbalance up here. could get completely evaporated here in the next second, but I'll put it there. My initial bias was down. It still is because of the high time frame. We're waiting on a drawback. I think it's already cleared that other high from over here. No, it's in this right here. It's in this fair value gap that is messing with. The next available high is way up there. This high is done. The next available high is right there. All of what's where it is right now is imbalance. The fair value gap, whole 9 yards. There's two big ones. The problem is, even with London session where it is, right, the point of control per session is down. So it's got to come down at some point. This imbalance is toast. But if it ends on a down candle, that's a high we can record. I almost want to see if this is the case right here. A little bit faster, but a little bit easier of a gist. Imbalance, low made, tested, continued high. So we could have caught this trade right here from this point up, but going from the high time frame, we're in retrace right there. You see that on the MACD. 5 minutes, is it doing the same thing? No, 5 minutes says we're just full on ripping. So it works. I think the 1 minute is telegraphing the play on the higher time frame. We want to do that. I almost want to. I want to do this right here. Boom. Here's our low to get retested. Down, up. And then here's our high, up, down. Fast play, but what works? What works best? Either it closes below that low and drops immediately after, which we'll see from the MACD and on the high time frame, or it won't. Instead it'll retest and then drop. Yeah, it's winding up for a drop. We need to see this candle close first. There it goes. We have 11 seconds. I want to wait. This will be a sell for short. Confirm. We are now in a short. Boom. My stop loss is going to be up above here. That's the high from up there. My final take profit will be just below below these lows here. What kind of trade is this? This is a one to 1.7. It's not a fairly good trade, is it? Let's go for the high time frame, see what we can see from there. Took a trade right there. Not below these lows. There's an imbalance there I could hit. There's an imbalance there I could hit. There's an imbalance there I could hit. I think it'll continue lower. I think we're going to go, let's call it safe and do this right here. Okay. And then we'll fix the stop loss just a little bit better. I think we're going to put right here, just above these highs. All right, I'm going to confirm trade. I'm not going to change anything about that now. I'm going to do this though for reference's sake. That is a 1 to 1.4. Sorry, 1 to 4.5 risk reward ratio. We're waiting for it to do a pullback and then continue lower. Five-minute. We'll admit this trade does not look good from starting out, but we're looking at the peak of this session. I just realized we have 8 minutes for news. News has got things to say. We got 7 minutes for news to drop. Want to see exactly what happens there. We're going to keep this up until I see 10 read across this, and we'll go and check out news, see what's happening there. I need to actually bring this up because that matters. Sorry, not 4.5, 1 to 3.82. Still a good risk to reward on high time frame play. We're playing from the 4-hour. Knowing it's in a high time frame downtrend, we should be expecting it to continue down. Just waiting for the break on high and then move low. Same story as happened last session. We had a huge volume spike into the green and it went down low. And the same logic is being applied here. Huge spike in the green, move down low. So session to session, it makes sense to enter the trade right where we did because that is at the high point. I get it could go a little bit higher, but in reality, that is the high point. We're looking for a price to retest the high and then drop immediately after, or based on news's suggestion, it'll just drop all on its own. Right now, it's looking like we made the right call. Take this, expand it out this way, so this is a little bit out the way. We can see this right here move down. Further confirmation is going to be the drop below this imbalance here and it continuing to drop. things are about to light up like crazy because that is going so well. I'm just waiting for it to queue up. Good. Thank you. That's yes, you can go into that now. Thank you. Golly. Was fully expecting something to go awry. I just didn't know what. Figured it out. Figured it out. Hello, inbox. Notification. Why is my controller sticky? I'm gonna have to like get a disinfectant wipe for this or something. I don't know why it's sticky the way it is. Okay, that's set up. How do you not? After recording bit, fuck this. I would need to go here and test this. Down all the way. Okay. That's receiving that, which is good. That's receiving it. Okay. That is good. That is what I was looking for this whole time. I had all bad that. My thing is though, what from this point, why is it like that? Okay. Jeez. Screen capture. This would not be able to change because of that. So I'm stuck with just that. So it's fine. It works. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. This is the sound of my voice. Yay. That's done. Face cam. Lock mute. That's done. Do I want to do face cam this stream? Yes, I guess. Yes, I do. I really need to find a better way of doing face cam for streams. I really, really do. Not gonna lie. Kind of sucks. Hello, 10. Let's take a look at news real fast. It's been a little bit. Boom. Hello. So we have first red folder. If actual grain forecast is good for currency, forecast was 55 and it was greater, which means we see price going down. Yay, news turned out good for us that way. Actual grain forecast good for currency, that's the inflation expectations. It was lesser but the forecast was not brought up. So, going off of previous, it being lesser than previous, we see price moving down. It should move up, actually, as a result of that. But because there was no forecast for it, I think we're just going to see price move down anyway, because without forecasts, down's the direction, dim's the rules. So we should see it continue moving down. Yeah. So far, so good. So far, we shall see. We shall see. I think this is an absurd block we have here. It works for the high time frame, but the margin is it's crazy. The margin itself is absolutely astronomical, is what it is. Most of the volume's up high right now, but there are no sell sides down low. So it would make sense for price to continue low. It sought out the low volume node, filled it. I think we're good. I think we're going to see it continue much lower. It's just a item to wait on. Gotta wait and see about it. I actually want to test something else out real quick. While I'm here, I'm gonna do this. That is still catching that. Okay. Real quick, I want to press this. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. This is the sound of my voice. This is also a test to see if the audio of any recording made from this PC is going to get caught with the game audio. So I'm going to remain silent for a brief moment. I'm going to listen out for game audio throughout this next little bit. All right, that should conclude the sound test of this. Let's see what the recording says. Put on this handy dandy headset of mine. Okay. So that does work. It's just incredibly quiet, so I'll have to turn it up as I go to post it, and that should work. Stream volume is fine the way it is. It's a little loud, but that's actually okay. I actually don't mind that at all. I think it works. I think it does. like intended. Just as intended. Okay. So both those volumes are now fixed. Let's see if it sounds any better. Yeah. Okay. They're both evened out now. Gold. All right. I'm now good for recording. I'm now good for streaming. On. No, I'm not going to hide that one. I'll keep that right where it is. Throw the BRB screen up until we're good to go. That'll get thrown there. That's set up. Already did the titles and the categories. I'm actually going to do that again when I go to press stream. Stream's going to go all the way over here. I don't want this, this, this. Good. Stream, record. Good. Was there something else I needed? When I'm done with this, this will be where the chat goes. Maybe. I'll have universal chat here, but if TikTok does its thing, I'll be able to see TikTok's chat. Can I see TikTok chat? Let's see if it'll. I have to sign in? Really? Why? Why do I have to sign in to do this? I don't like TikTok chat. TikTok's chat is cancer. It's not fun. That's not scary at all. Looks like we'll have a little bit more of a bounce up here, and then there'll be a move much further down later. I think. Or it could just be trying to retest this high here and then further on down, which would make sense. I mean, that does make some sense to me. That is the setup. Our entry was valid. We played on the lower time frame, projected off to the higher time frames. We know the 4 hour was in a downtrend again. We knew the 1 hour and the 5 minute broke structure to the up, and it's based on the 4 hour. We went to the 1 minute for its move down, and we caught the trade at the best possible price. Now I'm looking for the high to get retested, and if it doesn't get retested, even if it doesn't get retested, price to continue lower. That's the current gist. We're in the middle of the trade. We're in the middle of session. I'm set up for stream and recording on machine A and B. I'm going to pause this recording now, and I'm going to wait until I'm satisfied to leave trade. I imagine that won't be till after 10:30-ish. So there will be potentially a significant amount changed from now till when we get back. So that being the case, I will be right back. BRB. Okay, truth be told, I think we're going to lose this trade. Truth be told. So thought process is that we've been waiting. What is in my ear right now? Golly, I don't know why. Why the ads on YouTube make no sense? It's just gibberish in the ear half the time. Anyway, truth be told, I think we're going to lose this trade, and I'm looking at the from session to session. So all the way over here, session open to now we're past 10:30, as you can see, we're at 10:44. Looking at this, I'm looking at a point of control far below the rest of price, right? Here's our point of control. I'm also looking at a chunk of volume right here, right at point of control 2 where I had it before. Volume had built up and has since moved higher, right? I think we're in price discovery. I think because of this point of control being broken out of, this whole from here to like here being broken out of, its consistency at holding volume here. I think it's built itself a support level, I think. And based on that, based on this right here, if we were to use this like a staircase, step, step, continue up step, build volume, step even higher to really keep going in an uptrend and sweep up all these highs right here, right? I think that's what's happening. I honestly think that's what's happening right now. The initial idea was that, okay, price is going to continue lower based on the higher time frame, the 4 hour. We go to the 4 hour, we can pretty much see we're in a downtrend. We broke structure here, and we are creating a new high. This high is going to be lower than this high, obviously, if it continues lower, wants to continue lower. However, we've got several imbalances throughout this and this that say, no, we're going to continue higher anyway. Get ready because we're about to make a higher high and break out of this trend. Okay, if it breaks a higher high, we'll know it based on the loss of this trade. At the same time, the hour, now that we're on this, same story. Broke structure roughly in here. Imbalance, keep going, imbalance, boom. What we wanted to do, what I tried to do, was project what price was going to do based on the high time frame and where volume was headed. We had a lot of volume right here saying, yeah, price is going to go down. Well, it went down, and it slowly climbed itself back up out of this hole it's in. And in the process of doing so, it fulfilled a lot of volume levels, a lot of price levels with volume that slowly allowed it to climb back up out of this hole. And I think it's going to continue doing that over time. I mean, as you can see on the MACD, we are clearly ripping from this low all the way up to here. And it doesn't look like it's going to slow down anytime soon. So I do believe this trade is a bust. We have lost it completely. And it could change. It really, really could. It could create a lower high and then proceed to literally like crap the bed, just continue to fall completely apart. Don't know though. Won't know until it happens. So as you can see, volume built up here. This is from 9:30 to 10:30, so I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, look at this, woo woo. Even when news dropped, it did continue lower, but it was only for a brief period of time. We had a decent amount of stuff we could have pulled out right here, but this drop down wasn't enough. It stopped right here in this imbalance area. So it failed the fair value gap and is continuing higher. I think we did lose this trade. Yeah, not much else to be said about that. I'm going to pause the video again. I'm going to unpause when we lost it, or if it decides to reverse in the opposite direction and creates that low high that we were talking about a second ago. Looks like it might hit. Oh no, it's gone beyond this. It's in price discovery now. It's up here-ish. There's no imbalance within any of this move here. So it's honestly anyone's call. It's I don't know what else to call it outside of a potential. We could see, based on this balance that's occurring, like there's no fair value gap. Price just continue to tank and fill these imbalances because they're closer. But then again, it could decide, you know what, I want to rip above these highs, call it a day, and continue to rip. That is entirely plausible as well. We just have to wait and see. I'm going to pause the video now. Yeah, I hope we don't lose this trade. I really, really hope. I mean, I feel like we got a good runner-up. I feel like we waited long enough. I feel even on the lower time frame, we waited for our setup to come true. And on our play, the bias for the day, that price was going to continue lower. That also held strong. We were still in the downtrend on the 4 hour. We're still in the downtrend on the hour-ish. We're just waiting on that high to form, be done, and then for it to literally drop. So we're just waiting for it. As soon as it's done, out the way, and we know exactly where price is going to not go, but where it is more than likely going to hit and bottom out. That'll be the exit of the video, or we could just lose the trade outright. That's also a thing. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video now. Be right back. Hopefully win. Hopefully. Hi. I lost the trade. 95 cents down the hole. Woo. See you guys in the next video.